All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to find the vertex and the line of symmetry if you start off with factored form. Now, if you start off with factored form, you want to find your x-intercepts first. In my previous video, I showed you how to do that. The x-intercepts should be readily accessible from factored form. They're the easiest thing to find. So finding the vertex from factored form is going to rely on you having already found the x-intercepts. So here I have an equation in factor form. I can tell you the x-intercepts are -3, 0, and 7, 0. So to find the vertex and to find the line of symmetry, we have to understand that parabolas are symmetrical, which means that the shape of a parabola is mirrored, is a reflection across that middle line. So wherever the middle of the parabola is, if you have a point on the right, you also have a point on the left, and they're equally distant from the center. And this is true all the way up the parabola. So by using this information and the fact that we have two x-intercepts, what we can infer, what we can deduce is that these 2 points are mirror images of each other across the line of symmetry. So we can find where that middle is. So -3, 0 is over here. 7, 0 is over here. Right? These are our x-intercepts. So if we find the center, that's going to be where the center is for all the points, not just for these 2 points, because of the way parabolas are. So to find the center, there's actually a mathematical technique you can use, very useful for finding the middle of any 2 numbers. What you can do is you can add together the 2 numbers that you're trying to find the middle of. So 7 and -3, we're going to add those together. That's going to give us 4. And what we can do then is divide by 2. So add together, divide by 2, and we get 2. So we know that the middle between 7 and -3 is actually 2. And so here's the middle between these 2 points. This dashed line represents our line of symmetry. Now, whenever you write the line of symmetry, you have to make sure that you write it as a line. And what that means is you have to write an equation. It's not enough to just write that the line of symmetry is 2. This by itself is not a line, so it can't be the line of symmetry. If you want to write the line of symmetry, you have to write it as follows, right? You have to write it as x equals 2. The reason we write it as x equals 2 is because every point along this line has an x coordinate of 2. So that's why it's called x equals 2. Okay. So that's our line of symmetry. To find the vertex, we know that the vertex of any parabola is along that middle. It's in that middle. So the line of symmetry is going to intersect the parabola at the vertex, right? So the vertex is in the middle of the parabola. What that means is we actually already know what the x is of the vertex. So we know our vertex has to start with the same x value as the line of symmetry. We know it starts with a 2. So to figure out what the y coordinate is, we just use our equation. Right? It tells us that y is going to equal 2 plus 3 times 2 minus 7. Simplify this using the order of operations. We get 5 here, we get -5 here. Multiply those, we get that y equals -25. Y equals -25. So here's y. This equals -25. So our y-intercept, we can count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 would be right here. And that's how you find the vertex. So let's just do another quick example so you can see it from start to finish. Okay, let's say that we have y equals x plus 4 times x plus 6. That's a 6. All right, first we start with our x-intercepts. We know x has to equal -4, x has to equal -6. So we've got -4, 0, and negative 6, 0. These are the x-intercepts based on our equation. Again, I have another video explaining how to do this. So now we find the middle between these two. We're going to add these together and divide by 2. That's going to give us negative 5. So negative 5 is in the middle between negative 4 and negative 6. Maybe you don't have to do this. I mean, if you know negative 5 is between these two, you don't have to go through this process, but it's important to show it. So our line of symmetry is x equals negative 5. Right? You can kind of imagine a graph. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1, 5, 6. Here's another one, and our line of symmetry is like this. And so our vertex, we know, has to be on this line. So we know that the x has to be negative 5. To figure out the y, we're going to use our equation. Y equals negative 5 plus 4, negative 5 plus 6. This gives us negative 1 times 1, which is negative 1. So y equals negative 1. And we can just mark that here. So that's our vertex. And that's how you find the vertex from factor form.